No quick fixes, and it depends.
Yes.
And not the adult diapers.
Depends. Oh, that's funny. Welcome to the Barbell Effect podcast. You're here with Katy Homerin, Zach Chimicki, and Gavin Geltz. Today, we're going to be talking about some red flags in the health and fitness industry and some things you might encounter if you're either starting your journey or if you're really talking to anybody, whether it's in person or online, about health and fitness.
Woo. How we doing, guys?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Feeling kind of sick because of this air quality, but we'll get through it.
Out there looking like Blade Runner.
Exactly. I need an Ana de Armas.
Yeah, man, you got to get out there and take some pictures.
Yeah, the air quality is really on and off. I really thought we were through it, but apparently not. I woke up this morning and then on my walk to the gym, I'm like, should I be walking to the gym right now? I probably should have just drove, but it is what it is.
Dang it, Canada.
Well, I feel like it's the worst today, like at least for the Midwest.
It was worse, like, I don't know, last week at some point, I think.
Two weeks ago here, it was
2 weeks
about
ago.
what you guys have down in Milwaukee right now. Like you walk outside and it feels terrible.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Feel walk outside, instant lung cancer. That's what it feels like.
Yep. Welcome to Beijing. What? The air quality's bad there.
All the pollution.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know how long it's supposed to last, I guess.
Well, hopefully I get used to it if I end up going to Seattle.
True.
Yeah, that's very true. Seattle's beautiful, though.
But then again, I have the mountains too. So
yes. Yeah.
that probably
beautiful.
offsets the air quality.
Everything balances out.
It'll be raining all the time, so you'll have plenty of opportunities to stare out a window and pretend you're in a music video.
I'll be able to take some nice pictures. Also, if my voice is cracking, that's because I'm sick right now.
Zach's going through puberty.
That's why.
He's a late bloomer.
He's actually
26.
Zach's actually in the 7th grade still. Little do we know.
All right. Okay, so one of the biggest things that I thought of when I thought of like health and fitness red flags, and something that I've experienced being an online health and fitness coach, is blanket recommendations. So whether it be programs that are put out there for everybody, just like a wide population of people, whether it be a specific calorie amount, like I've definitely seen some, I won't name names, but some programs out there that recommend, 1,200 calories for a large population, including men and women of all ages. So let's chat about that a little bit. Some blanket recommendations. What are some that you guys have experienced in your niches?
I can't say anything in particular just because I try to avoid the people who do that. But it's something that I've seen. I guess for me, it's more so talking in absolutes. So like, I'll give an example for when I'm in like the hospital, doing diabetes education for patients. I'll be talking to a patient and they'll start off the conversation by saying, like, my doctor said I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And just gives them a list of foods that they can't eat. And I don't want to blame the doctor just because they don't have a lot of time to go and talk with the patient. So it's probably easiest to just list different things so they can move on to the next patient. But at the same time, they also don't have the same nutrition education as dietitians do. So that's where our job comes in. But it's even in like general fitness, like you'll hear like, don't eat this, don't eat that, you should eat this, you shouldn't eat that. And at the end of the day, the types of foods, like the nutrition quality matters, but at the same time, there's no best food to reach a certain goal. And everyone's diet and everyone's like palate, what they like to eat is going to be different. So like kale is a big one. You've probably heard people talking about kale, how it's a superfood. I'm doing air quotations for the people who are not watching and are just listening, because I don't like the word superfood. But it is very nutrient dense. But there's a ton of other foods that have the same nutrients in it, and you can get those same nutrients from other foods. And I know I do not like kale. It's disgusting. I'm not going to be eating it. So I don't like it, so I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat something just because it's supposed to be healthy or supposed to be nutritious. Because at the end of the day, what works best for you is going to be individual to you. So you can't really have a blanket statement of what you should or shouldn't be eating. It's more so what is going to work best for you and your goal.
I think a lot of those people, who make those blanket statements, they come from they come from somewhere that's a good place. They're trying to help, and they're saying like, hey, if you want to get to said goal, it's probably best to avoid said food. But they come
Mhm.
off in a way, like you said, if somebody wants to get this done quickly, they say, "Don't eat this. It's not worth it.
Mhm.
Don't eat it." So people
Yeah.
automatically think it's bad,
Mhm.
And in my case in particular, and I think you guys can both attest to this, as far as exercises go, um, I hear a lot of people talk, or, give upright rows a bad rap and say, "Don't do upright rows. You're gonna cause impingement in your shoulders, and that's gonna hurt." I actually remember Zach one time when we were in college. You're like, "Why are you doing upright rows? You're gonna hurt your shoulders if you do that." And it's one of those things where it's so variable between people. Like everybody's anatomy is a little bit different, and upright rows actually haven't been shown to cause any shoulder issues. Upright rows are an exercise that people with current shoulder issues can worsen your pain. They can worsen your
Mhm.
symptoms if you already have shoulder issues. Um, but it's not one of those things where it's like avoid upright rows at all costs. You're going to ruin your rotator cuff muscles. So, like I said, as far as like you talked about with nutrition, and I should just say for everybody online, a lot of the times it comes from a good place, like people just wanting to help. But there are also so many people that are just like, if you do this, this will happen. And we all know that everything is so much more complicated than that. And there are multiple sides to everything. So it doesn't always, A doesn't always mean B is going to happen.
Yeah, and a few things with that. So with the upright rows, yeah, that's like an example where like people say not to do it, but that's ignoring all the different nuance. It's like, what's the form?
Hmm.
Where's your hand placement? How high up are you going? And that's all going to be individual specific. So just by saying don't do upright rows, like you're getting rid of a shoulder exercise that can do a great job for shoulder development.
Yep.
I'm talking in terms of like bodybuilding. But maybe a better statement would be don't do your upright rows like that, do them this way. Because I know I
Yeah.
used to do them like super narrow grip, and like I have very long arms and long limbs. So I
Mhm.
would feel a lot of discomfort in my shoulders doing them. I've recently added them back in, and I've been doing them for a couple months now. And I'm using a wider grip, and I have a more um, standardized way of doing it, where I avoid doing it differently each time. I do it the same way each time, and I haven't had any problems.
Yep.
Um, and then I forgot my other point, so I'll just end that there.
Hashtag podcasting. Well, here's one for nutrition. Like you look at different nutrition camps, like the anti-carb people, the anti uh, fats people. You look at all of these different camps, and there's so much more nuance to each group, and that to be a well-rounded or have well-rounded nutrition, you usually need each different macronutrient like that. And you can find any corner of Twitter that somebody's going to demonize a certain food or a certain macronutrient, and I'm sure Zach can really hit on that more so.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is a lot of people doing something that works for them or that they found that works for them, which is great, but you can't use your individual experience to say what other people should do. because most often than not, if you look at research, which looks at a representative number of people of the general population, that's not going to be the best thing. You might see a couple people who are outliers who it does work for, which is where you would likely fall in if you were in that study. But for most people, that specific way of doing things probably isn't going to be the best. And I guess that really depends on like the individual like factor, like what exactly you're saying you should or shouldn't be doing, and as it relates to what, which is where the nuance comes in. But I did remember my second point and now it's gone again.
Oh my gosh. I guess that I'll chime in here and say I guess that kind of also relates to like another red flag that's on this list. Like these two can go hand in hand, is people kind of that seem like they have all the answers, because no one really does. And something that works for someone doesn't mean it works for someone else. Like I see a ton of like coaches that have taken up, taken their business to online now, and they became a coach because they did something that works for them. But they have to understand that like what worked for them to get them the weight loss that they experienced is not necessarily what's going to work for the clients that they're bringing in, because it isn't just one thing. It isn't one factor. And like so many things play a role that it's not like one specific thing that someone did to achieve something. And this goes along the line with just like all or nothing thinking when it comes to nutrition or just your overall fitness journey as well, is that like, for instance, Zach, he was just talking before we hopped on the call about how he hadn't been to the gym in a few days because he kind of took a week off and then he got a little bit sick, right? Like a lot of times people would view that as I fell off. Like it's either I'm on or off track. It's either I ate good that day or I ate bad that day. It's either I won or I failed. And that's not how it is. Like there's gonna be days where you like are more productive or you're more on track than other days, but it really just all balances out. It all goes back to like the different dimensions of wellness too, because yeah, one day you might have not gone to the gym and maybe you didn't really pay attention to what you ate, but maybe you spent the day with family, and like it's never all or nothing. And that kind of like plays a role into one aspect of wellness as well, is getting your social and like your family time. Like that's hugely important. So I think a lot of people where they fail, I guess, in their journey, it's okay to fail, but like where they go wrong is that they think about it as either I'm on or off track. I'm eating clean foods or I'm not eating clean foods. I'm either going to the gym or I'm not going to the gym. It's like you can have 4 days off and you're not off track. You didn't fail, you didn't lose all your progress. But I think that deters people and gets them into a mindset of like, well, I already missed these days, so I'm off track now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And that goes right into the point that I forgot, but that I now remembered, to where,
You're welcome.
Thank you. So yeah, basically it's about, saying it all depends on like what your goal is, instead of just saying, don't do this, don't do that. It's maybe don't do this if this is your goal, do this if this is your goal. And it really just depends on what your goal is, and you might decide that doing something that might be a little bit more restrictive is going to be necessary to get you to your goal. But someone else's goal, it might not be that way. So like I'll give an example for relating it to bodybuilding. As far as like tracking what you're eating towards the end of prep and realistically all the way through prep, and being able to fit foods in, for like an average lifestyle person, we're going to say fit in the foods that you want to eat. And while that's definitely an important thing to do during a bodybuilding prep, because it makes it more sustainable and you're going to be less likely to binge eat after the show if you're able to still fit things in as much as possible. But there's going to be a point where the amount of calories you're eating to get stage lean, you are likely going to need to give some things up that you were previously able to fit in at the start of your prep. So like, for example, say you like eating a donut or a muffin or something as like a pre-workout snack, maybe a couple hours before you work out. That might not be the most ideal thing because it has a lot of fat in it. most of the time, but it also has a lot of sugar. But if it's something that you do and you enjoy doing and you find that it works great for you, then great, you can fit it in as long as it fits into your calories and your macros. But once you get closer to prep and the amount of calories you eat is a little bit lower and the amount of carbs you're able to eat is a little bit lower, you're probably not going to be able to fit that in and still feel satiated and feel full. And it just isn't likely going to be the best thing for you to eat at that point. But it's also realizing that it's not going to be forever. It's just temporary. And you just have to kind of push through it and just deal with not being able to have it for that period, instead of viewing it as, oh no, I'm not able to ever have this again. Because then that mindset is likely going to lead you after your prep and after your show, when you don't have that end goal, to just binge on muffins and donuts and stuff. And then you'll just end up going off the rails and just gain a bunch of weight.
It is a tragedy how many calories are in a single muffin.
Yeah.
Like, muffins are like the best thing ever. Why do they
Mhm.
have to be 500 calories minimum all the time? Like, I
know.
don't need to eat
Mhm.
my full breakfast in one damn muffin.
For
And
me,
that
it's
could bring
Pop.
up, oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, for me, it's Pop-Tarts. I love Pop-Tarts before I go
Yeah,
to work out.
they're like so small and they're like
Yeah.
400 calories.
What's the point? Like,
I know, it's so
somebody
sad.
make me a healthy alternative that tastes exactly the same, please.
I'm sure
Like,
the flexing diet, or what's it, the flexible dieting lifestyle guy
yeah,
probably
yeah.
has a
Yeah.
Pop-Tart recipe out there.
We've
He
never made
does.
any.
I've used it during my prep.
Oh, you
Like
did?
I watched like all his YouTube videos back in 2018 when I was dieting. I would make as many of his recipes as I could. And that brings up another point. Once you get so say for example, say your goal requires you to be at a low amount of calories or low amount of carbs or whatever it is. Again, I'm talking something that's usually super restrictive like bodybuilding, so this might not apply to everyone. But maybe instead of just cutting it out completely, maybe instead of going and buying whatever you're going to do, you find some recipe or you make your own recipe that works out better for your calories and macros. Maybe it's less calorie, maybe it's higher protein. That way you're still able to fit it into your macros, even though it might not be the ideal version of it you want to be eating. But again, that also makes it more sustainable and makes you more likely to succeed long term than just cutting it out completely. And for some people, cutting it out completely might work better. And that's, again, another example of nuance that you need to think about.
When you find me a good quality protein muffin, you get back to me on that, okay?
I just
Okay.
had this conversation with one of my clients because she was basically like, now over time, over the past couple of weeks, her protein averages for the week have actually like slowly increased each week, which is exactly what I want to see. Because she's just still not where like I want her to be in terms of protein consumption, since we just recently added that goal in. We were just doing calories for a while, so she got used to that goal. And then we were adding in a protein goal. And she was like, I still feel stuck with, trying to get, between this range of like my protein goal. And I'm like, well, first of all, you should be proud of yourself because each week you've increased over time, but also like, what are you feeling stuck with? She's like, well, I just feel like every food that's higher in protein is like the higher calorie stuff. And I'm like, first of all, let's back up here. Let's review some of our like quality protein sources, because most likely if you're eating lean protein, it won't be super high in calories. And so I reviewed it with her and I basically was like, literally go on TikTok. TikTok has I know this like sounds weird, but TikTok has so many like recipes that people put out there. I just saw this recipe where this girl took fruit that was about to go bad, like berries. She mashed it up, added like a couple scoops of Greek yogurt, a drizzle of honey, mixed it all together, put it on like a cookie sheet, like in portions, like circles, froze it, and then took it out of the freezer and dipped it in like dark chocolate and added a little sea salt on top. And I'm like, there you go. Like you just used up some berries that were about to go bad. You're adding Greek yogurt in, so you're getting a decent amount of protein. And I guarantee you the macros on that snack are pretty decent, especially with using the Greek yogurt. And I'm like, and that would be a really good protein, like high protein treat as like a dessert after one of your meals to just get in some extra protein. Like, is that going to be the food that has the biggest amount of protein in your day? Probably not, but it would definitely help you get there. And I think making those swaps, or I know some people like swap plain Greek yogurt for like sour cream, things like that. It's like if you just make those little swaps, we're not telling you that you can't eat tacos with sour cream, but try it with the Greek yogurt. It is very similar. And just see where you can swap things. And some things you're not going to like, and you're going to like the original version better, but just swap where you can and where you still enjoy, and you can be like sustainable with it over time.
That just made me think of a meme that I saw. It's one, you guys have seen it. It was a video. It was girls on a bulk versus guys on a bulk, and the girl was making some like nice super intricate like dessert type recipe that was like high protein, had a lot of fruits and whole grains, and then the guy version was just a big concoction of the easiest and most simplest random ingredients.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that just made me think about that and made me appreciate like the difference between all of us here, because I know like that's something that you would recommend, like, but on my end, I know I wouldn't make something like that.
I eat the same damn thing every single day, it seems, for breakfast and lunch, and I don't get sick of it at all. It's like, all right,
Exactly.
lunch, it's meal prepped chicken, long grain rice, and zucchini, and that's all I'm having all week, and I'm gonna love every bit of it. And then Katie's like,
Exactly.
no, I need some nuance. I need something different every
Hey,
day.
I I alternate between the same like 2 to 3 breakfasts, and then I pretty much like I don't really even eat a lunch, to be honest. I kind of just snack. Like I have like Greek yogurt and granola. I'll have like some fruit, maybe some veggies. I have like a salad, like pre-prepped salad that I maybe add chicken to, whatever. And then dinner, we obviously switch it up between like the same 5 things that we enjoy every week. Um,
Tacos, chicken,
but yeah, we
salmon.
eat a lot of the same stuff, but we enjoy it. Like we found recipes that we enjoy, and it's not either, oh, we have to eat chicken and rice every day or we're off track. Like we are, this kind of goes back to like the all or nothing, right? Like we're able to make recipes that we enjoy, and we know that it'll fit in our day, and yeah, they're enjoyable.
So that was a huge tangent. So there, I think we can move on to another red flag that I know we've all talked about before, and one thing I wanted to discuss for sure was people who in the health and fitness industry who seem to have all of the answers. So for those listening and watching out there, you know, if you're talking to somebody and you're getting advice from somebody for whatever health and fitness topic that you're talking to them about, and they always talk in absolutes, or not talking absolutes, they have the answer to everything that you were asking them. That can be a little bit fishy at times, because as we've talked about previously, like every individual usually has a specific thing that they work with. You know, like the person that you go and see when you have a lot of different issues, that's usually like your general practitioner doctor. And then they can send you to all the different specialties of the people who know a lot more about those specific issues. So, like, if you're having issues with nutrition, you get sent to people like Zach. If you're having issues with rehabilitation, you get sent to people like me. So, if you're talking to, you know, whatever fitfluencer, or if you see somebody online who like just seems to have the answers to literally everything, I guarantee you not all of those answers are correct, and you might need to dig a little bit more to find out about them, because if somebody doesn't want to say the words I don't know, but I can look into that a little bit more for you to give an answer, it might not be the most trustworthy source. I don't know if you guys have anything to piggyback off of that.
Thinking about like especially if you ask a question that's like specific to you and they immediately give you an answer without asking additional questions to kind of get a better picture of what's going on, chances are that might not be the best answer for you. They're just kind of giving, again, just a general recommendation. um I know like when people ask me a question and there is something that there is like a general question to or general answer to that, but there also is nuance that it can go multiple ways. Like I'll give them the general answer first, but then I'll say, but it depends on these different kinds of things, and then I'll ask them more about whatever it specifically relates to them, so I can get more a better idea of what's going on and more tailor that advice a little bit better. And like as an example, when I'm in my clinical setting doing my clinicals, that'll happen with a dietitian, and a lot of times it happens with um kidney or like renal patients who have like chronic kidney disease, where we want to we don't like limit protein like very strictly. It's more of just a little bit of a moderate restriction, but they have maybe a high staged pressure ulcer or some kind of wound they've had for a while that's not been healing. Do we want to increase the protein a little bit, especially if they're in dialysis? Do we want to go a little bit higher than we normally would if they didn't have the wound? And so that way we're focusing more so on the acute issue at hand. So we might increase their protein needs a little bit so that wound can heal, but it's also not going to be a ton extra where it's going to really impact their kidney function or make anything worse. So a lot of times, like, I'll consult with the dietitians just to see what they think, because I know typically we would want to have that moderate restriction, but in this one case, there's this nuance where they might benefit from having it a little bit higher regardless of that situation. So I know that was like a super specific example that isn't going to apply to really anyone that's listening.
I was going to say, way to dig as far into your niche as you absolutely could for
Right?
that one.
Oh
that was just an example that popped into my head.
Well, I have a more. Oh, did you have something to finish up with?
I was just going to say, moral of the story, there's a lot of times nuance, even though there's a general recommendation for something, there's a lot of times nuance, and it's going to be different, varied on your individual needs. So that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I would say I have two things on this topic. Is one, I've definitely been guilty of this. Like, I think when, you first start becoming educated in like a specific area. So like when I started out in the health and wellness world in college, you kind of like get excited. And I think that excitement leads to you probably giving answers that you shouldn't be giving, or like thinking you know more than you know. And I think we touched on this in one of the previous episodes. It's just like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know or need to learn more about like specific things. And so now that I'm even deeper into the world of like health, fitness, and wellness, I've definitely kind of like pushed my ego aside and been like, yeah, I'm going to need to look into that more. I'm going to need to know more information. I'm going to need to, like, most of my answers are, it depends. I think there's actually like a TikTok or reel trend that's going around right now. It's really funny because it's like, you'll ask a question, and it's like, oh, should I focus more on cardio or more on weightlifting? And then the answer will be like, yes. Or it'll be like, should I focus like, what's more important to look at, my macros or like what I'm eating? Yes. Like, it's just like, it really depends. And like all of these things just play a factor. So there's really no like set answer sometimes. And it is very dependent on the individual, because so many people have like these like small conditions or like large conditions that really impact their health or their life in big ways. But even like small little things can just make a difference and change the answer between one thing versus another. And this is something that the second point that I want to make, this is something that I've actually ran into an issue with, like in DMs, is like people will get upset because of the way I respond. Like people will come in like trying to get my guidance or like ask for help. And, I'm more than willing to, like, if people reach out to me about something that is more general and is more of like yeah, you do need to be adding more fruits and veggies into your day. Like if I saw your day, I would be able to kind of make that like, yeah, you probably should, you're probably not eating enough of that stuff. But if it goes any deeper than that, it's like, I kind of need to know. And that's why like coaching exists, is because it's not as simple as like, hey, pop into my DMs, ask me a question, and I'll be able to generate like, yeah, you should be eating X amount of protein, or you should be doing these lists of exercises, right? Like it goes further than that. And like, that's why coaching is necessary. It's because I need that time. Like all of us coaches, we need that time to go through your health history, go through like any injury history, go through like what you've already been doing. Like, are you a beginner or are you more advanced? Because I'm not going to, tell you to like do this exercise in the gym if you don't even know how to do this one, like, kind of the prerequisite. And so it's kind of like I need to follow you and like see the whole picture on like where you've been, what your goal is, and what you've been doing in order to give you the answers that you're looking for and the guidance that you're looking for, because it's not as easy as you popping in the DMs and being like, this is my goal, how much protein should I eat? Like, that's it. I can't give you a straight answer. And so I've run into that issue because then people will get mad and be like, because then I'll approach them and be like, hey, I think I can really help you though. Like, if you think about like joining my program and signing on with me, and then they'll get mad and be like, oh, I was just reaching out for you for some advice. Like, I thought you'd give that to me because, you know, I thought we were friends or we used to be or whatever. And it's like, I'm not giving you answers. It's just, it goes deeper than that. And I think that that's where people like don't understand is like, I'm not trying to just be like stingy and being like, oh, I'm only going to talk to you if you like sign on for coaching. But like, I'm also not going to just give you like a dumb blanket answer if I don't know like the full picture.
So that kind of leads into one of the other things that I wanted to talk about today, and that's quick fixes for people and people who promote quick fixes. Like, I can guarantee you for almost any issue out there, there's not a quick fix for what you're looking for. Something that can truly help you. You know what I mean? When it comes to most things, say your issue is that, well, frankly, you want to get stronger. Like everybody and their mother, when they're, in high school, it's like, okay, what am I going to do to get ripped over the summer and get as big as I can over the summer? Because, I only have 3 months, of beach season, got to get really big. It's like, okay, people dedicate their entire lives to looking like shredded and big. Like that's not going to happen fast. Or like, people come in to see me for their pain and they're like, I've been dealing with this for a while. Like, can't you just give me a medication that'll make this better? It's like, no, you should probably go do some rehabilitation and, get some lifestyle changes going. And then that way, you don't keep doing this. This doesn't keep happening. Or like Zach, I'm sure you have issues at work too, where it's like people just want meds to feel better. And then that's all they want. They don't want to make any lifestyle changes.
Mhm.
And there's so many people out there that'll promote said supplement, said workout, so on and so forth to get to said end goal. And frankly, most of the time they just don't fucking work.
Mhm. Yeah, like an example of that, I think, is the topic of gut health, which again, I'm doing air quotations, is because the gut doesn't have that much research on it. There's some, but I guarantee you that the people who are selling supplements that are supposedly going to fix your gut don't know more than the people who are actually doing research on the microbiome and the different organisms in the microbiome and how they all work and interact with each other. That person selling a supplement isn't going to know more than the experts researching those topics.
Especially
And
the guy named Kyle at GNC who's trying to sell it to you.
yeah,
Who's
and
18 years old.
and like if you ask the actual experts who say like, how can I improve my gut health? How can I have a healthy gut? They're going to tell you eat more fiber, more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, exercise, stay hydrated, and manage stress. Those are really the main things that are going to, if you're like just a general health person trying to be healthier, those things are going to give you a healthy gut. And I promise you, taking a random supplement without fixing any of those other things is not going to help you. And if you do notice a difference, either it's just making you shit everything out or it's just placebo.
What about my juice cleanse, bro?
Stop going out and binge drinking every weekend and then eating a whole fucking pizza afterwards. Like that'll really help you out.
We say it at the end of every episode. Stop eating like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just being, obviously, like since I've started coaching, you just kind of start to notice these things and these trends just in the human population as a whole. And that is like one of the biggest things is that I see a lot, especially women, because since I primarily work with women, I see that obviously a lot more. But they'll be saying like, oh, like they're trying to eat clean through the week, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll go and drink Thursday through Sunday. And just like, and not eat well, like they're not tracking, they don't know what they're consuming. And it's just, to me, it's just mind-blowing because I'm like, if you would literally just at least reduce it, I'm not saying you never have to have a drink again in your life, but if you reduce that significantly, you would just see so many benefits right then and there. If you learn how to manage your stress, like Zach said, like that is also another huge thing where I think a lot of people, especially clients that I've worked with past and present, have come to me like, why am I not making progress? And like, well, I've told you time and time again, like we need to address your stress. And that doesn't seem like a top priority to you. They just think it's about just making it into the gym and that's going to get them all their, like, that's going to be the magic answer. And it's not. There's so many factors that play a role, and it's not a quick fix. It's about behavior change and changing your habits, finding habits that are obviously different from what you're currently doing, because obviously what you're currently doing is probably not working, if you're trying to look for this specific goal, but also finding things to change that like can mesh with your current lifestyle and can be sustainable. So there is nothing quick about it. Think how many years, like if someone comes to me and they're 30 years old and they have been living an unhealthy life for 20 years since, they were a preteen, right? Like they're not going to fix that in, less than 3 months. That's just not going to happen. Like there's a lot of work to be undone and a lot of behaviors and habits to try to change. And that takes time as well.
And one more thing that I just thought of is, it goes back onto the different things that we talked about, is don't be afraid to like go like get a specialist for something. Like don't go to one person and expect them to fix everything for you. Because chances are they're not going to be able to, and they're also probably not credentialed to do that. So like say if you have some kind of injury, you're probably not gonna be best off going to some random personal trainer at some chain like some chain gym who only has a personal training certification like just out of high school. You'd probably be better off going to like a physical therapist who is going to be able to help you better. Or in my case, like if someone came to me and they wanted help for a like an eating disorder, like I'd have a general idea, but I don't want to, like, that's not my specialty, that's not what I'm best at, so I'm not confident in my ability to be able to help you. I would recommend you go see an actual person who is licensed and credentialed in eating disorders and has past experience working with people with eating disorders. So I think it's important to when picking someone to work with, if they're like, oh yeah, I can fix that, we can work on that. If it's something like that's super specific and they think they can help you with it when that's not their specialty, that's also a red flag.
Absolutely.
It's so true. One of the biggest things that they've taught me in my business mentorship is just stay in your lane. Like it looks a lot better on you and it looks a lot more professional when I say like, I might ask a few follow-up questions just to get an idea, because sometimes it does end up being something that I can help with. And sometimes it is just like out of my scope. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to recommend you here. Or I've even, asked Gavin questions, if my client is like, oh, my knee randomly started hurting or something like that. It's like, it could be a simple fix, but it also could be deeper than that. And you just don't know until you ask those follow-up questions and try to refer them to who they should be going to see.
It shows a lot of respect too, like from the practitioner to the client or to the patient, like referring them to someone who can help them instead of, possibly just wasting their time doing with, because if you don't know like really what's going to help them, you're not going to help them. You might give them something to do, but that doesn't mean that is going to work. So, like Zach said, if a personal trainer saw somebody for their knee pain and was like, okay, let's do some strengthening exercises, that might help, it probably would. But at the same time, did they really know what to do or what specific things to look at or how to prescribe a certain exercise for a person? So it shows a lot of respect to be able to say, hey, I don't know what you should do for this. I do know where I can send you so that somebody can help you, because that is my goal. Like my goal is to help you as a person, like deal with whatever you're dealing with. And I want you to be able to fix that or manage that as fast as you can. So if you go to said person, that will help you faster than if I help you. And like I said, like it shows vulnerability. It shows like, hey, I don't know it all. Like none of us three know it all. Even combine all three of us, we sure as hell don't know it all when it comes to helping people. But we at least have gotten to the point where we're like, hey, I don't know. Let me either find out what I can do to help you or get you to somebody who does, so we can get this figured out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. I have one more thing to say about quick fixes, if that's okay.
No,
Uh,
no, it's not allowed.
well, fuck you guys. Okay, I'm gonna say it anyways because I have the power of the recording over here.
Ooh, she's
And
got us.
if you guys hopped off the call, then it would just be me talking anyways. So whatever.
Welcome to the Katy After Hour.
Ooh, that's actually, yeah, that'd be a good segment.
Don't get any ideas.
Anyways, with quick fixes, I think a lot of times why they seem so like attractive and like shiny and like a shiny object syndrome is because of that instant gratification. And I think it kind of goes along with what we just talked about is people are looking for something that will get them fixed or helped right away. And I think that with quick fixes, you experience a lot of times people experience a couple pounds of like water weight loss. But the second that you're off of that quick fix, whether it's, I don't know, a detox or a cleanse or something like that, or I think people are calling them resets now. Like they're recoining the term detox or cleanse into like a reset.
Reset your gut.
Yeah, reset your gut. I don't know. I try to keep up with the trend names so that I can kind of talk about what's going on here. But I think a lot of times people see that initial weight loss and they're like, oh, like I lost a couple pounds pretty fast. Like this must work. But the reason you have to keep going back and doing it is because it's not fat loss that you're experiencing. So the second that you're not doing that anymore, you're gonna put that weight back on. And it's because it's not fat, like it's just water weight, and you lose it so quickly because again, you can't lose, like you're not losing fat that quickly. But it just seems like attractive to people because they're like, oh, I just want to drop that 3 to 5 pounds really fast. And they want that instant gratification. And they're also using it as a cover up for what's really going on in their lifestyle. Like I know I used to follow someone on Instagram that I actually unfollowed after this incident, but I saw her posting about the brand It Works. And it was like some kind of detox coffee or whatever. And she was like, oh, if you have a bad weekend of binge drinking and eating too much, just go ahead and like use it. Like this is the perfect supplement for you. And I'm like, okay, let's just ignore the binge drinking and the binge eating and just cover it up with some kind of detox coffee on a Monday after you feel like shit after the weekend. Like let's rewind that and actually look at the underlying issues here.
I think it kind of comes down to if, you look at these individual claims that these people make, they're like, it's like that too good to be true claim. Like, oh my God, I can lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month. Oh, wow, that's very enticing. I should follow this person. And I was actually on my drive home from work today. There's a commercial on the radio about, I won't say what it actually is, but it's a chiropractor who has a weight loss company. And um, their commercial quite literally says, and it's the chiropractor talking. He says, "Yeah, most clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two." And I'm like, okay, bunch of red flags in that sentence right there. One, he says most clients do. Then he says 20 to 30, so there's a range. And then he says about a month or two. So one, you're right, Katie. It's probably just water weight glycogen that these people are expelling essentially in the beginning from whatever they're making them do. And they're saying, oh, you don't have to count points, calories, you don't have to exercise. I'm like, so this is that too good to be true mantra that I'm hearing right now. This is a massive red flag for me. Why would anybody fall for this? And it's because they want that, like they want it done as fast as possible. They're like, oh, you're telling me I can get shredded in 2 months? That's perfect. Sign me up. And they'll pay the money to do it. But frankly, it's not sustainable. And it's just not how you're not going to make lifestyle changes doing that. And you're not going to get what you want doing that.
Yeah, and that's how
Yep.
the quick fixes really work. It's mainly marketing because that's how they get you. Because maybe you might lose that 15 to 20 pounds in that short time period. The person's going to say, oh, hey, it worked. I did this 15 to 20 pounds. And then like maybe half a year later, they'll be like, I'm going to do this again because it worked last time because I lost the 15 to 20 pounds in whatever time frame. But if you think about it, did it really work because you weren't able to sustain it? You have to do it again. Like that's how like it's just marketing. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be a returning customer. They want you to get whatever that quick fix is fall back to whatever you were doing, and then you're going to buy it again because it worked last time. Again, I'm doing air quotes. When in reality, if you took the slow route and made changes that are sustainable and are actual lifestyle changes, you wouldn't have to do it again.
Yep.
I
You'd stay at
always,
that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always have this conversation, whether it's with my current clients or just people that I'm talking with on a daily basis, that it is so much more impressive to lose weight sustainably over time and keep it off than to quickly lose weight and then keep having to like start something over and over again because you're doing something that's just a quick fix or it's not sustainable for you. So then you're like falling on and off track. Like time and time again, you keep having to return to this thing because it made you lose weight quickly, but you can't keep it off. So to me, especially as a coach too, and somebody who's gone through their own fitness journey, it's just way more impressive to me to see someone put in the work over a year or two and really lose the weight that they want to lose, especially if they do have a lot of weight to lose, to be in a healthier position and keep that weight off. Like to me, that's a lot more impressive, and it says a lot more about somebody than, oh, I just tried like this supplement or I tried this quick program and lost, 10 pounds in 1 week. Like to me, I'm like, okay, anybody can drop weight fast in an unhealthy way. Like that's not impressive to me. So it's just a lot more impressive to see someone put in that work and to be able to keep it off over time.
Yeah. Moral of the story. It depends.
Yeah.
That is the answer that everyone loves to hate, but
Yep. No quick fixes, and it depends.
yes.
And not the adult diapers.
Depends. Oh, that's funny.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to hit on?
No, I was going to say on that note, I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like that
we've been
cut it
talking for a
off.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these topics could be talked about way more in depth. Like there's just so many different tangents that we could go on, but
And we will, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more.
Tune in next episode. Week. Yeah. All right, guys. Right, I think that's all we got. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for your time and attention. We love it.
Yeah. Talk to you next week.
Bye. As always, thank you so much for tuning in with us. For more free content and to stay in touch, be sure to give us a follow. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok, homerun_fit for Katy, Gavin_Geltz for Gavin, and Z Chomicki for Zach.
Also, feel free to email us with any questions or topics you'd like to hear on the pod at thebarbelleffectpod@gmail.com. We'll be sure to link all of this in the show notes for you as well.
Lastly, if you like this episode, please leave a rating and review so others who can benefit from what we offer can find us. Until next week, keep moving, don't eat like an asshole, and fucking stay hydrated.